I just start talking.
It's just so mean, man.
You started like me.
He does this giant countdown, and I just start talking and act as if we're not live yet. Well, hello, stream. Welcome to another episode of the STiKS Live. Thanks for coming in. Make sure you guys are tweeting out the stream. I see we're approaching a little over 300 viewers already, which is pretty sweet. We have a special guest today, and we're going to start the show off like we normally do. I'm going to go around and I'll start with Hitch and then Fatty, and then myself, and I'll let Sharp introduce himself. And you guys know which team he plays for, but I'll have you guys each, when you introduce yourself, answer the question, what is your most memorable moment in gaming?
What?
Hitch, you're up first.
Of course I'm up first. Okay, my name is Hitch. I do media stuff for Gamma Gamers. I used to do it for UMG, and my most memorable moment is probably my first event doing UMG Philly. So I did some videos and stuff for that. So.
And he met me.
And I met you, yes, of course.
That had to be memorable.
I did not know what to call you because I felt really weird calling you Fatty.
Who doesn't? No, just kidding.
All right, go ahead, Fatty.
I have two. Can I do two? Am I a time hog if I do two? All right, the first one was really what got me really into esports, and that was the famous push incident. But no, it was like I was watching in my bed, watching UMG Chicago, and just that whole run by Optic towards the end. Like I just fell in love with esports right there. Was like, oh, what is this? But then Anaheim, the first event I went to, not this year, but the year before, where I actually met VVV Sharp. He doesn't remember because I was still fat then. But no, but that was just a cool experience. And then I remember when for what do they call it? Was it Impact? Yeah, Impact. They got dethroned, and that's what started this whole EG supremacy thing.
Supremacy?
Yeah.
I want to rewind. So you decided to get involved with COD Esports because you saw Nadeshot get shoved by 8?
No, it was the like that whole tournament. I want to say, Sharp, didn't you guys take third?
No.
You didn't even
at UMG Dallas, at UMG Chicago?
Yeah.
No, I was on Fear. We got like 9th.
Oh, well, because I remember seeing Fear, and I was like, oh, that's like the coolest logo I've ever seen.
True.
Then
Fear's a cool name, cool logo.
Yeah, and so I really loved Fear. Then I just remember I remember seeing Sharp in a Fear jersey. That's all I remember. I thought. Anyways, but just Optics run there. I was like I said, laying in bed watching on my iPhone, and it was like really intense, like that last couple rounds, and then the push. I didn't really understand what was going on. I just saw because the video, the camera that they had was like so crappy.
Yeah, I remember that.
Viewing the audience.
You couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell what's going on. I was like, oh, he got pushed. That's too bad. But no, it was just the gameplay from there really made me fall in love with. Because I didn't even have Modern Warfare 3 at that point. I had just played it like once or twice.
Aches and Nade were both little kids back then. So it was like two little kids like pushing each other. I mean, that's kind of what it looked like. So my name is Kingdom Soldier. You guys know who I am. This is my show on my Twitch stream. And just so you guys know, I have decided for the time being to stick with Twitch. I had talked to Puckett about MLG.TV, but I'm going to stick with Twitch for the time being and see where it kind of goes with the whole Amazon deal. So I will be getting a sub button and all that kind of stuff. There is a spot for you to donate now down below, and that just goes actually to help out for the production of the show, because I don't do it. It's actually done by Goalie TV. He does all the graphics and everything you see, the countdown, all that kind of stuff. That's all Goalie, and so that goes to kind of help out with the production and all that kind of stuff, because it takes him a lot of time to do it. But I will have a sub button and all that kind of stuff soon, and I'll be partnering with Twitch for the time being. So my most memorable moment, and I don't mean to sound like the fanboy that you guys call me, but it actually was the day that I was off Twitter for like hours, and then I got on, and Hex, Diesel, Nadeshot, Nadeshot had followed me and tweeted out that he liked my videos, and then Hex tweeted out that my blacklisted video was good. And then all these Optic members started to follow me simultaneously. It was really weird. And it was after I had a conversation with Hex where I had said some wrong stuff, so I didn't expect anybody from Optic to follow me or anything like that. I had said some stuff about Scumpy. But that day, in all honesty, I'd never seen my notifications like that, and it was utterly ridiculous. So that was my most memorable day. I won't forget it. And just because of how big Optic is, my subscriber count grew by like 1,300 subscribers that day. The views on the blacklisted video was like 20K in one day. It was ridiculous. And so that was my most memorable day. You can go, Sharp.
I'd just like to point out that kid that ran was like the fastest kid I've ever seen.
I just saw that on stream.
He had to go to the bathroom, so he literally opened the door and just jetted.
He was booking it. But anyway, I'm Sharp TK. I'm the captain of Team Caliber. Team Caliber is a pro team, so I also do YouTube and stream whenever my internet's not Magundy. And I would say my most memorable moment in my COD career would probably be UMG Atlanta, but it was my first event with Team Caliber. We got second, and the whole event we only lost one search and destroy, so it was a pretty fun event for being our first.
That was an awesome event.
Awesome. So I was gonna shift kind of to talk about roster stuff, but there was a miscellaneous question that I had that you just kind of brought up. Where did Magundy come from, and what does it mean?
Magunda and Magundy and all that came from when me and Moho did 2v2s on YouTube. And somehow we just started saying this word. He like it had something to do with Gandhi, not the Halo player, but like the actual dude Gandhi. I don't know why Moho was saying Gandhi, and like I started just saying Magunda from that. And then like people in our videos loved it. They're like, "Oh, dude, what's Magunda?" And actually, we use it in terms like if something's bad, like, "Oh, I just got a Magunda spawn," or like, "Oh man, this is Cheeks Magunda."
I heard Cheeks Magunda a lot. Like you started saying Cheeks Magundy when I started watching you. You were still saying that.
Yeah.
I don't think I hear it dropped as much, but I do like that I see the Mullet Nation stuff is back. I like seeing that as your closer on your videos, and so what kind of got you into, because you're one of the few that has consistently uploaded on YouTube, and you never really stopped, even when you take little breaks, and you put up whatever you want. Like you obviously put up content that entertains you and that entertains your viewers, but you're not in a box on your YouTube channel. I've seen you and Kozdov playing pubs and trying to convince some kid to get a girl's number and all that kind of stuff. But what kind of gave you the motivation to get started on YouTube and stay on it, and stay on that grind?
When I joined Envy in Modern Warfare 2, this was like before any pros ever did YouTube. Foreplay was telling me, he's like, "Dude, you need to start doing YouTube. Like, this is how, you grow a fan base. This is how you reach to your viewers and all that stuff." And I was like, "Oh, whatever." And I like started up a channel, didn't do any commentaries, and I had like 5,000 subs just from being affiliated with Team Envy. And I started doing commentaries in Black Ops 1, and like if you go back on my channel and watch them, I'm just like, "What's going on, guys?" Sure. I'll just sit there and watch and be like, "Damn, like this is about to put me to sleep. This is boring." And just from that, like it's fun. It's fun to see like, that you actually grow a fan base from doing these videos, and like these people, every day expect a video at the same time. They're like, "Dude, where's your video at?" Like if you don't post one, then they're like, "Oh man, come on." Or like if I don't say "what up my mullets" in the beginning, like people catch that. They're like, "Dude, where's the what? I'm a mullet. What are you not calling me a mullet?" I just find it fun.
Yeah, YouTube is it's an interesting medium. It definitely people put you in a weird light, and if I don't upload, sometimes I won't look at Twitter on purpose because I know I'll get all these notifications like, "Hey, you haven't uploaded in 2 days. Where's your video? Where's best competitive vids of the week? Blah blah blah." And so I think I remember watching you. I started watching you when you were doing like 1v1s. Was when I started watching you, and I mean the rest is history. You've bounced around and you've been chilling on TK ever since they started, and so we'll talk about that later. But the obvious focus in the community right now is roster changes or potential roster changes or behind the scenes underground roster changes, and nobody really knows what's going on. It seems like there's something happening. It's almost like before an earthquake happens or before a volcano erupts or something like that is going on. And I kind of wanted to ask, all of you guys, because everybody's asking, what's up with Karma? Is he going to go back on the roster? It sounds like he's never going to play with these guys again. Parasite getting benched late last night, and now he changed his Twitter handle today because he said he didn't want his Twitter handle to reflect FaZe. And, he changed some things in his header and all that kind of stuff. And it's obvious that there are being trades discussed from team to team. And I kind of wanted to bring up a tweet that you tweeted out earlier, Sharp. You said the flaw with the MLG League is that every COD team will hate each other given enough time. And I kind of want to ask, like, what did you mean by that tweet? And I'll ask the other guys, after Sharp talks, kind of what do you guys think about the way that rosters are managed now because of the league? Is it good or bad? Like, at the end of the day, is it going to be something that actually helps us? Like it seemed like it did, because right now Karma and Parasite would be on different teams if these rules didn't exist. So kind of what did you mean by that tweet, Sharp? And then we'll kind of have a conversation about it.
Well, what I meant by it is, like, I've been playing competitive Call of Duty since Call of Duty 4, and just about every team that breaks up is either because someone thinks that there's something better out there, or the players that are playing on the team just don't get along. I mean, you saw it with Complexity and Glacier. They were winning, and even when they were winning, they said, we don't get along, so we're going to get rid of Glacier. And now EG winning, they said they don't get along with Karma. Parasite not getting along with FaZe. Not even sure what Glacier's doing with Optic right now. Like, he's been gone, and Big T's actually been playing with matches with them. So I don't even know what's going on with that team. But I just know in history, like, teams just seem like there's always something. Like, you put four people together, there's going to be issues out there. And with the way the rosters are now, it's like trying to make them work it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. It's trying to make them work it out, but something I said in my video was it today maybe or yesterday? Maybe it was today, I don't remember. But I was talking about how if you know that you potentially are on the chopping block, or your team is thinking about getting rid of you, it's kind of, I don't know how you stay on that team. Like, if Clayster does know, he was tweeting out last night and he talked about how his placings on Complexity were better than his placings that he's had on Optic. And I don't know what he meant by that. It was kind of like a cryptic tweet. But, Fatty and Hitch, what do you guys think about the rules, how they've changed, and are they good or bad for competitive Call of Duty in your mind?
You got this, Fatty.
I think they're good and bad. I mean, really what we're trying to do is create a league so that we have some just stabilization, so people aren't jumping ship every 5 minutes because they don't like somebody for 5 minutes. That way we get bigger sponsors, we can have more tournaments, and we can shine a broader light on COD Esports. But I think there needs to be more teams for exactly the reason Sharp is talking about. They need to have, instead of 8 or 10 or 12, they need like 16. Bump it up to 19. I don't know. I mean, there's going to be a point where there's too many, but if you want to look at the NFL, they have 32 teams. It's not like 5 teams or 10 teams, and you would have the same thing going on. And there's always going to be people that don't like each other. It's just going to happen, and every once in a while they will be forced to work with each other. And as long as they can work it out and be professional, they can do good. And I think one thing that kind of hurts is Twitter or even YouTube, where you can get frustrated and air out all your frustrations at this person, and then everybody blows it up and turns it into something that it really doesn't need to be.
Well, and I've suffered from that when I did my video on Proofy and got roasted on stream by Clayster. But I feel like, maybe the scene maybe the rule of not allowing people to be traded immediately, it may create some of this like Twitter beef that we're seeing. If you could just drop someone, it would create all this drama, all these roster changes, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, now that we're trying to get people to work out their problems, be more professional, it's almost causing people to go on Twitter and argue with each other, even though they can't leave each other, and it's like, of course you're going to bench Parasite if you don't want to play together, and that's rough. But I heard a rumor, and maybe Sharp, you can confirm or deny this, but I heard a rumor that it may have been from Parasite, I don't remember who said it, but that like the denial team, they didn't really like each other. I don't know if they do now because they won, but they didn't really like each other as players before the last event. But they just kind of pulled it together and won, even though they didn't like each other, because you can't really just drop people when you don't like them anymore.
Yeah, I heard that as well before the event. I mean, I don't really know too many. I know Study and I know Saints, but they really never talked to me about whether or not they liked their team. But I heard the same thing, that they weren't getting along before the event.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So, I'll give you guys. Go ahead. What?
Yeah. All right. So, like, if we're trying to be an esport or whatnot, like an actual, like, you know, a competitive thing, organized thing, we have to like kind of try to run this parallel path of how actual like physical sports did it. And like football teams, every single player on that team is not gonna like each other. And I played soccer growing up, and there are some teammates that I just absolutely despise. But like,
yeah,
I didn't just leave. I didn't just, you know, you can't just dip and just leave to go to a different team. I think eventually, I mean, I'm not a pro player. I don't know. I haven't been in this scene for as long as these people have. But like, if we eventually want to get to that point, we have to learn to just, you know, play together and until it gets to a certain point where you're allowed to make these changes. Ooh, voice crack right there.
Did you like fries with that?
Hitch is going through puberty.
Again, yeah. But you have to like it has to get to a point where like,
you hadn't gone through puberty yet, but go ahead.
All right. I don't know. I think there should be like, you know what I'm saying though. I basically had finished it until that detrimental voice crack.
I wish you guys could have been watching us earlier when Hitch was trying to talk, and I just ended the Skype call.
I laughed so hard.
He was having a real, like, legitimate conversation, and I just ended the Skype call just in the middle of it.
And the best part was you did it once, and then you're like, "Hey, Hitch, tell us about that," and you're like, "Click."
So, Goalie dared me to do it on stream, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to do that to you guys. So, what are you guys' thoughts in general on what we've heard about Parasite being benched, and where, as much as you can say about it, Sharp, but the rest of you guys, like, where do you see Karma actually going? If he's not going to remain on EG, like, where is he actually going to go? What are the options? And kind of what are your thoughts on Parasite? Is he going to end up off phase? And I'll start with Fatty, and then go Hitch and Sharp.
I don't know. I think it all depends on who wants him. I mean, Chris is a great player, I believe. And you got to think, remember Black Ops 2, he was, you know, one of the best anchors out there. And we're going into Advanced Warfare where we're going to have Hardpoint again, which is, you know, the need of another anchor. So, and he can do that job. But at the same time, he's burnt a lot of bridges. And, you know, he likes to call the shots. And I said this going into the whole phase thing. He and Sensor are going to be going like this because they both like to call the shots. And it's, you know, one alpha. Well, it's probably like 4 alphas. But, you know, 2 really dominant people, especially when it comes down to tactics, going up against each other and then questioning each other's moves and stuff. But so he'll have to go to a team that needs a leader and wants a leader. And I don't know what team that is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Parasite just needs a team with 4 people that don't talk and just listen to everything he says, and just you know, like do whatever they want him to do. But I just don't think that team exists. So I don't know.
Is he that good? I mean, is he good enough to be?
It doesn't matter if he's good. He just won't. He won't be on a team that where someone else is trying to. I mean, I don't know the guy, but from what I know about him, what I've seen on the streams, and like anytime he's communicating, it's just like it has to be his way, or he like kind of like freaks out. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Sharp,
unless that's the
on this.
I mean, as far as the situation that happened to him, I don't think it's really fair to him for like Sensor to just say that, you know, I don't want you to play and that you can't play.
Yeah.
That's where I see a problem with the whole roster thing. Because if TK came to me and was just like, you're benched, like, we're gonna have some problems. I feel like I've earned my spot to be able to play in this league, and just for my team to say that I can't, I don't see that very fair. I don't. Pardon?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't see them trading him anywhere, just because. Well, actually, I mean, I could. I don't know who would like want to be traded, or like who they would want for Parasite. Obviously, they're playing with Diabolic now, but when you go and make a video saying that you hate your teammate, that kind of drops his trade value. To where, oh, we want to trade you Parasite. Well, you hate him. Like, we don't want to hate him. And as far as Karma, I see him just staying on EG for the rest of the season because I don't know what his contract with Evil Geniuses look like, but I don't think EG. I don't think EG plans on trading him to anyone. So I think he's just going to ride the bench, or they're going to have to work it out.
Wow.
Mm.
Would you? Can I ask? I'm sorry. I want to ask a short question. Not as a starter, but would you trade for either of those guys as, say, a backup? Like, would you trade one of your draftees for him?
For a backup?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would trade any one of my backups for Damon. I don't know about for Parasite. I've never really teamed with him. I guess I would. I see him as a good player. I do watch his streams, and I understand, like, he wants to get his point across, but I can see where sometimes he just needs to bite his tongue and not talk so much. But he definitely is a good player. Now, as a backup, I don't think those players need to be backups. They definitely, and that's where it like comes in with the whole problem. Like, Damon's a two-time world champion, and to me, one of the best players to ever play Call of Duty, and he's not even playing in the season right now. So that's kind of where I see a problem in the whole roster deal that the league has. I don't know.
That makes sense. I mean, it's unfortunate that a player of that caliber is kind of just chilling, and now even the same I'd say with Parasite, even if he's challenging to work to deal with or whatever, the fact that, with his success that he's had in the game also, the number of championships he has, just to kind of be sitting there watching. And I mean, I think for FaZe, their placing was really horrible at UMG Dallas. I don't know what was going on, but I know that it was not what they expected. And I kind of wanted to ask you because I know you're on a team and you've been on TK since they started. You're the only person that's been on that team. And I know you guys are back to your core, but you've been on that team since it started. When you place bad as a pro, when you place bad in a tournament, how much of instinct is the players on the team rather than we just played bad? Like, because it seems like a lot of times from a viewer standpoint, when there's a bad placing, there's this chance of roster changes, and is that like the immediate response, or is it we didn't play enough, we didn't practice enough? Like, kind of where do you guys go to when you're kind of talking about it, or do you just not even talk about it? Like when you place, like I know you guys didn't place where you wanted to place either at UMG Dallas, like the conversation following that, is it just we got to get it together, or do you ask the question, are we the right four, to continue to compete?
Usually no one really talks about roster changes because no one is ever going to come up to you and at the event and say, yeah, I'm leaving. Like, it's usually always like, yeah, I'm staying, man. As soon as like you're on the plane, free agent, like what? Well, actually the only player that's ever told me in person is Apathy. Apathy actually told me in Anaheim that he was leaving, and I actually respect that. He told me at the event. He didn't lie to me. But other than that, every other teammate I've ever had, it's usually you land, you turn off your airplane mode, and you find out you need teammates. That's how it usually goes down. But what we talked about, UMG Dallas, Gunjar and Neslo played really, really well. I was sick at the event, so it was probably one of my worst events that I played. And I think my teammates, they kind of understood that. I told them I take blame. And they understood that, and there was really no talk of roster change. And then after Gfinity, we placed where we didn't want to place, and it was pretty much the same thing. We talked about what we need to go home and fix because really, I guess this is a good thing about the league and the way it is. Like, there really is no roster changes. You can't talk about, well, we want to drop this person, or like I want to leave here because they have to be traded, and a team has to want to trade them and accept their trade. So it's not really about roster changes anymore. It's really, with our team at least, it's about what can we work on, what can we fix.
Well, that's good. I mean, and I think that everybody keeps saying it. Fizzard tweeted this like cryptic tweet yesterday that these roster changes are going to be big when they happen. It sounds like teams are trying to set themselves up for Advanced Warfare. And something Fatty mentioned, have you played Advanced Warfare, Sharp?
Yeah, we actually went to Gamescom and played the multiplayer reveal.
So does Hardpoint need an anchor? Like, were you guys able to actually see that, or is it? Because I'm thinking with the flying around and stuff, like, and jumping it up, and I mean, does it seem
The
like there's
Titanfall
actually?
action.
Yeah, does it seem like there's an actual need for an anchor in that game? Like, do the spawns work
Hon-
similar? I know they're gonna change, but
Yeah, honestly, I could not tell at all. We played one map in Hardpoint. It was Riot, and the spawns, like, we would try to anchor, and then someone would just spawn right behind you, or like the teams would be spawning on both sides of the hill. The spawns on that map were honestly just awful, and we could tell that they were awful, or maybe we just didn't know how to control them right. I don't know. But that was the only map we played Hardpoint on, so I couldn't really give you an answer on that.
yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Because I'm wondering. I think sometimes we automatically assume that a game mode is going to be like it was in a previous game. And Dom spawns have not always worked the same from game to game. The way that you spawned in Black Ops 1, is different than the way you spawn in Ghost. And I mean, Ghost in general is just a rough game. It's the reason why the time I sent all those subscribers to tell you to play Black Ops 2, because Ghost is just, I mean, it's a rough game to watch, to play. All of it is just hard. It's hard to even watch you guys. And if it wasn't for you guys as pro players being entertaining and the drama that's created by, we now have insight into who you guys are from Twitter and social media and YouTube. I think the viewership would have actually gone down this year, but it went up because we just know more about the players and who you guys are and team trades and all that kind of stuff. So staying on the advanced warfare track, if you had to choose right now, because I know you got to play CTF and Uplink, which one would you choose to be a competitive game type in advanced warfare?
Capture the flag.
What about
Fatty, Hitch, same thing?
Oh, well, I want to know. I'd say take out domination and put in uplink or something.
Well, I'd say keep the Black Ops 2 trend with Hardpoint, Capture the Flag, and Search and Destroy.
Yeah.
Best of 5. 1 Capture the Flag, 2 Hardpoints, 2 Search and Destroys.
I like
Can that game be played without dead silence?
It can, because we didn't play Search and Destroy, but usually in Black Ops 2, I didn't even use dead silence in respawn modes. So the respawn modes seem fine without dead silence. It would really come down to Search and Destroy. I think you're going to need it for that.
All right. So I'm going to shift the question a little bit to a hypothetical. And Fatty, I'll let you answer this first, and then Sharp, and then Hitch. So if Optic Nadeshot actually retired, like if that actually happened, everybody's this big rumor. I don't necessarily see it happening, but if he actually retired, would him as an individual, would that have an impact on viewership and overall attendance at events? And would it change Optic's popularity in general as a team, which of course would have an overall impact on the competitive scene right now? And I'll start with you, Fatty.
I don't think it would, because one, Nadeshot has said he wants to stay in esports. He wants to help be an ambassador, which that's what he's best at. I'm sure he's turned up his gameplay, but everybody knows he's has a good personality. That's why people watch him eat freaking cereal for an hour in the morning, and give him money and tons of stuff. But I think he would still be at the Optic House. I think he would still be streaming. So I think if anything, it could help promote esports even more.
Okay. Welcome to the STiKS, Sharp. Talked about Optic the whole time.
Hey, it's fun. Go green wall.
Sharp, what are your thoughts? If Nade retired, would it have an impact on competitive in general?
If Nade retired and just left Call of Duty as a whole, I think it would hurt Call of Duty. I mean, like Fatty was saying, if he stayed within the community, like as an ambassador, maybe if he did commentating, whatever he did, coach, who knows, it would stay the same, and it would maybe spread some of the growth around more to other players, who knows. But I think if he just left the community as a whole, it would definitely hurt, because there's people who follow Nade no matter what. Nade every day, Nade every night. Nade streams on, I'm watching. If his stream's off, I'm not watching. I'm banging my head against the wall waiting for the stream to come on. I don't know. But like, there's kids out there like that.
Yeah.
They don't watch anyone else. And if Nade was to go away, then those kids would go away.
Yeah. That's true. I agree. I think I agree with what you guys are saying, is that it's kind of unfortunate, but he does have that much pull in the community, and I've seen when he takes his camera and runs across the crowd, and people just go nuts, and they oh my gosh, it's Nadeshot. They stop what they're talking about. They stop what they're doing. I watched some of these crazy Optic fans versus the Denial fans at UMG Dallas on, I think it was Ringhouse's channel or something like that, Ringleader's channel, Ringhouse. But it was it's something that can't be changed. And I know when the blacklisting happened, it was like, but nothing is going to change that. And I think I've said it before, I'll say it again. Optic fans are good for all of us at the end of the day because they become Sharp fans. They become EG fans. They become TK fans, Neslo fans. They end up watching other people when Nade is not streaming. So Nade shuts a stream off and 15, 17, 20,000 people are probably about half of them are going to go watch somebody. And so I think it's good for the community that he's there. And I agree with you that he has to keep some kind of role if he ever does retire. I don't know if he's going to. So chat, if you guys have any questions, make sure to throw them up there. I'm going to shift gears a little bit and do some questions from Twitter. So one of the questions, this is from misery_HB, and he says Sharp. And I'm going to let Hitch and Fatty, I'm going to let you guys throw in your 2 cents on this too. He says, how do I convince my parents to like gaming?
Well, the way that I convinced my parents is I started winning money on online tournaments, and they saw that, I can make real money doing this. And to go to my first LAN event, I had to show them footage of the tournament, which now back then was a lot harder. Now pretty much every YouTuber that goes to a LAN is making a video. Show them Ringleader's video. Show them just any pro player that goes and makes a vlog at the tournament's video and show that this is a real thing, that you're not just going to some guy's house who's trying to capture you and keep you in his basement. Because, that's where a lot of parents are scared. Like, a kid goes to them and says, hey, this sponsor wants to pay for me to go play video games. And all they're thinking is, like, guy paying for your flight to some place.
Yeah. That's real.
You got to show them that it's legitimate. That's all I had to do.
Fatty?
I don't know, because I am a parent now. It's hard to convince your parents, especially, that you're supposed to respect them. Make sure for one, you're treating your parents with respect, especially when you're talking to them. If they say no, don't flip out, because that's what's going to, make it worse in the long run. But at Anaheim this year, there was a 12-year-old kid playing, and his family was there watching him. He was on Excellence. He actually did really good. I think his name's Alphabets or something like that. EX. No, but
perfect name.
Yeah, no, he was actually really good. Yeah. And I think that's one thing. Say, hey, will you come with me? Take them to an event. Show them the videos. But above all, if they say no, don't freak out. Just be persistent. And if you watch, Scumpy has a video. This is all about Optic. Scumpy has a video about the whole thing. And I've asked his mom, why did you let him get into it? And she's like, well, I got to go to a couple, and I met other people. I met other people or players' parents. And so that's what helped get him in is, once they got to go, have your parents meet other players' parents, and next thing you know, they're friends, they can travel together, blah, blah, blah.
So, Hitch, I'm going to ask you from a different perspective, because you are taking a break from school right now, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing your parents were paying for your school? Were they? Maybe? A little bit?
That TK money.
So I'm asking, how did you convince them that it was okay for you to take a semester off? Because I'm guessing they weren't like, yay, do it.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I have a little different story. I just I was like having like a weird experience in school, whereas like I was just stuck in school and I was not knowing what I wanted to do really. I was just kind of like going through all right, everybody's leaving. It's just me and you. All right, stream. It's just me and you guys. We're here forever, just together. Anyway, dude, Kingdom, everybody left.
All three of us left.
Yeah.
Hey, there's 1,200 people watching you. You're good. Are you done? Did you tell your story?
No, everyone laughed.
Go ahead.
So the chat is going crazy. So yeah, I was doing I was like kind of like going through a weird experience in school, whereas I was just going through the motion and didn't really know what I wanted to do, and so I just got to a point where I was like like kind of like freaking out. And then I went to Philly and just loved it and loved the experience and loved what I was doing, and so I felt like that was that step that I needed. UMG kind of like brought me in and said they were going to, kind of send me to these events so I didn't have to pay for that kind of money. And then Gamma came along, and so I'm kind of like going through it. So yeah, it's a little bit different because my mom was like, she was like happy that I was finally do something that I enjoyed, and so that's kind of what she supported. So that's like a different scenario. But one thing that I did want to say is that people ask this probably every STiKS. They ask this all the time on all these professional players' videos. And so what I was thinking, I just came up with this idea. I think I'm probably going to make a video just like addressing parents, like make it, super in depth, not just me talking to a parent, but like, like use cinematics and stuff and like explain what it's like to be in an event and what this whole scene that we have is, so that maybe, if anybody wants to show this to their parents, they can do that. Because I feel like, there's a lot of good to come out of the community that we have.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll take it from my perspective of convincing my wife. I don't think I really have. It's part of marriage is that sometimes you just kind of you agree that that's something you like doing and you want to do, and as long as it doesn't get in the way of me doing what I want to do, I'm fine. And so for me, it's mostly like right now my kids are napping, or it's late at night, I get on and play Kingdom 8s or whatever. I make videos when my kids are napping or late at night, and so I just don't get it in the way of the family, because my computer is right in my living room. You can see my front door, my kid's about to come in, and so it's like that's just the way things roll. But I think what Fatty says is really smart is like, if she ever does kind of trip about it or say something about it, I don't get upset or mad or angry or anything like that. I just kind of go with the flow, and I'm like, okay, and I find another way of doing it. I make sure that she knows that she's the priority. And your parents, you don't want them to be the adversary if they don't have to be when it comes to gaming. So keep them on your side as much as you can. Yeah, in anything. I mean, yeah. So, I got a question from Avalanche for Sharp that I think is a good question. And he tweeted it at me, and he's in the chat as well. But it says, how long does Sharp think he's going to remain being a professional player in the COD community? And I'm going to add that to another question that says, if you weren't gaming, what would you be doing? So what are you going to do after COD? Like, have you thought about that at all?
If I wasn't gaming, what would I be doing? I honestly have no idea. I was kind of in the same thing as Hitch. Like, I didn't even start going to school. Mainly, I just didn't know what I wanted to be. And at the time, or I guess right now, like, I'm making money off Call of Duty. And if I was to go to school, with all the traveling I do, like, I took a week to go to Germany, took a weekend to go to London, all that stuff. It would be really hard for me to keep up with schoolwork. I mean, it would be possible, but it'd be really hard. And I've just always thought, like, school's always there. Now, how long am I going to play Call of Duty? I guess until I can't play anymore. Maybe, like, I mean, I know there's, like, going to be a point in time where I'm just not going to be good. And at that point, I think that's when I would stop playing. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I could be a caster. Depending on where my YouTube channel is, do that. I really do enjoy entertaining people. I don't know.
Why are you the only one on TK that does like regular uploads? Because I can see everybody, like Theory. I would love to see Theory.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of them being lazy and them just not having. I don't want to say they don't have creative mind, because they do. Like Theory is a really funny person. Yeah, he just says like he can't think of something to do in a commentary. And Gunjar's really shy. Like, we had to try to get Gunjar to do sponsored videos, like a Scuff review or like an 812 review, and he was just like, "What's going on, guys? That's good. Gunjar here, and I'm bringing you guys a video." And it was like he's like really shy in front of the cameras. Like, he's not someone who can sit there comfortably and just talk to himself in the room. Like I think it's something that you have to be you have to have the personality to do. You have to be able to sit there and talk to yourself.
So, but what about? I mean, let me ask you this. So, is it fair to the rest of us? No, but because you guys are pro players, technically uploading gameplay from like Proofies right now is uploading 8's gameplay, Wagers gameplay, like Imbos does. And now a lot of pro players are doing these little intros, you know, where it's like, hey, I'm about to show you this gameplay and it's really cool and it's going to happen and watch for the end because it's really awesome. Peace. You know, and it's like, I think doing that even, or Goon could make fun of himself, like, and that would be hilarious to all of us. You know, it's like, I just think people that don't take advantage of that are missing out on, especially these Optic players, you know, like Killa and Ricky, and I'm just like,
Killa would be comedy.
What'd you say?
The best YouTube channel.
That's
Killa,
exactly.
It would be the best. I would watch every video.
Man, I just wish he would get on that YouTube grind because even if he ripped him, because when other people upload games with Killa, I'm laughing at Killa the whole time. Like when other people upload gameplay where Killa's on their Money 8's team or whatever, you know, I'm cracking up because of what Killa is saying, and I just think he could have, even if I were him, I would pay somebody to do it for me. You know, I would just say, I'll give you however much money, and you just rip from my Twitch stream or whatever, my MLG stream, and make videos on my channel. You know, make me a little introduction that's cool, blah, blah, blah. People would watch it, like, by the thousands. Killa would get 20K a video within a month, you know, and so, anyway. I know for me, it's a weird topic because I look at all these pro players, and I'm like, there is life after gaming, and you got to have some kind of a platform so that, like, when you realize you're a detriment, you know, and you're not helping your team, it's like, okay, well, at least I got YouTube while I figure this out. A lot of people in the chat, though, are saying that you would make a great caster. I mean, I think, have you tried it before? Have you been one of the pros that stepped up and done it?
I've casted some events, I don't know how good it was.
It goes well. I've seen them. I like it.
Philly.
I guess I can't. I mean, Nezzo casted in Philly. It was really just me cracking jokes the whole time. It wasn't too serious. I casted a little bit with Duffman at AL Dallas. I think that went pretty well. But I don't know. It could be something if I was to take it serious. I feel like it's something I could do.
Yeah, it seems like a good opportunity. I mean, you might as well kind of take it. So I'm just gonna ask, and then you don't have to answer sharp, but I'm gonna let you go first if you want to. Just opinion in general on everything going on right now with STiKS. Just the view he has in the way people view him in the community, because you probably know him actually. Some people say he is who he shows that he is. He's genuine 100% STiKS, and that's who he's going to be. Some people say that that's his, you know, Twitter persona. But it is one of those things right now that's like a big topic is, you know, STiKS in general, and he's a winner. None of us can question that. We can't turn that down. We can't say he's not a winner. But just in general, his personal impact on the community, and is that a part of the professionalism piece that needs to change, or do we just, you know, continue to let STiKS be STiKS and you know, you guys focus on being who you can be as pro players?
As far as STiKS goes, I think, you know, I respect him because he does speak his mind and he doesn't really care what anyone tells him. You know, he's going to say what's on his mind and how he's feeling no matter what. He's not going to sugarcoat it. But then again, it's like there's a time and a place, and Twitter's not really the time or the place because there are sponsors that look at us and, you know, they see that they're the most winningest team, and they look at their Twitters probably right after they look at the Optic people's Twitters, and they're like, well, what's going on here? And what's this? And like you know, imagine if you saw like LeBron James and Kobe Bryant going at it on Twitter. Like, what would you think? Well, like,
yeah, it would be national news. I mean, people would make YouTube videos about it.
Yeah, there would be fines. The NBA would fine them money.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, you get fined for talking about the refs in the NBA.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
You look at the refs bad and you get
yeah,
you freaking stare at them cross-eyed. They're like 10K. They're right there. That's your lunch.
What would well, go ahead, Fatty and Hits. You have anything to chime in on the STiKS?
I would say more people just need to act, you know, more professional. We are trying to get bigger and better sponsors. I think I bring this up every time. Like, what if Tide comes in and wants to sponsor a team, they could bring a ton of money in, but they're like a family company. They're not going to put up with horrible tweets and then that whole what bugs me is people say, well, I put on my Twitter that my views are my own. That doesn't matter. Your views still portray who you're sponsoring, who you're associated with, your grandma, your mom. It doesn't matter. It still portrays everybody.
You can't separate yourself from your affiliations.
And by the way, PD got dropped, so we know. We heard.
I saw that from TCM.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the chat, it was like PD got dropped for like 20 minutes.
So last time when we had Golden Boy on Sharp, we asked the question of what needs to be changed about competitive Call of Duty going into Advanced Warfare. He spoke about it, of course, from the perspective of what he does, which is work for Twitch. He talked about streaming. He talked about offering other opportunities for people to stream and things like that, and keeping that consistent and growing, not just letting the community be kind of housed by one place, but spreading, kind of spreading the wealth, so to speak. And so I'll ask you the same question, like as a pro player, what is needed in your eyes? Is it salaries? Is it is it a commissioner for competitive Call of Duty? Like, what is it that you guys need as pros that will help continue to grow the sport? And kind of make you feel secure as a pro player that you're going to be taken care of going forward.
I mean, the salary would be nice. I don't think it's really needed, but I would say something like a players union maybe, where that dictates with MLG like what goes on within our league, so it's not just all MLG. What MLG says goes. They run it by the players and they see what the players think. And I know, like, it's hard to do when players are talking bad to the MLG people, and that comes within, like, players need to start being more respectable. And if we can all get along and work together, then I think we can make something good. But maybe like a couple players on a couple teams, have like a Nadeshot, maybe have TP from EG, and stuff like that, like Merc from Envy. In a Skype chat to where, all right, do we want the Vector to be banned? All the players talk about it, they discuss it, they say what their team wants, and that way it's not posted on Twitter, it's not posted on like a public forum where everyone's making comments on it. It's all the players talking about it, and it's done like that. It's not done through Twitter. It's not done through MLG's forum system. I don't know.
So that's a good idea. I mean, because all the players you mentioned are all well-respected players that none of us would have a problem. I don't think anybody in the league or even AM teams, that are trying to get in the league, I don't think anybody would have a problem with those players kind of getting together, even yourself, and talking openly about, because I can't see the 4 or 5 of you guys yelling and screaming at each other. Now, if you put Parasite, Censor, Killa, I mean, this might be not the best. We might want to just send them off to a retreat where they fight each other for a while and figure it out. But I think I agree. I think that one of the things I've mentioned in the past is not only having a players union, but having we don't have coaches anymore, but having a team owners union, and then having a meeting, even if it's once a quarter or every half year, where, let's say those 5 players you talked about, let's say 4 or 5 team owners, like Hex and those guys, meet, and all of you guys meet together with, Puckett, Fwiz, whoever else from MLG, and maybe Golden Boy from Twitch, Jeff from UMG or something, just pulling you guys together to talk about where competitive Call of Duty is at and how to continue to grow the sport, so nobody's stepping on anybody's toes. And if they do, it's behind closed doors. It's not, because and I don't think Snacks is in the chat today. He normally is, but I don't think he'd mind me talking about it. But I watched a video of his where he was kind of going at UMG because of something they were doing with their online tournament. They complained about him promoting his pro WGL tournament or something, and it was kind of like, that was the kind of stuff that, it's like, hey guys, talk about that to the side. It's not something that needs to be on Twitter or in a YouTube video, because even the drama with Parasite, it could have died, like, if they would have just talked about it behind closed doors. But Parasite was tweeting out pictures of what Censor was saying to him in the DMs or whatever, or in Skype, and that can create you know, a lot of issues. You know, I guess it 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 seems like there should be some more professionalism. And I wanted to ask you. You said a salary is not necessarily needed. What do you mean by that?
I mean, there are ways where players can make their own salary. I mean, I guess what
Like
I'm saying
streaming and
is,
stuff, YouTube.
yeah, like I don't know what MLG's budget is, but I'm not going to be one of those players like that's mad at MLG if they like they're not paying me a salary for playing in their league.
Yeah.
But like I said, it would be nice if we were paid a salary. But for me, there are other ways to make salary, or not a salary, but make an income off of gaming, whether it's from sponsors, whether it's from doing YouTube, whether it's from streaming. You know, there's other forms of income that you can make that aren't just prize money that I think a
Yeah.
lot of players don't utilize.
Yeah, you're right. And it's you know, I can what?
There we go.
I don't know.
I was
Stop by the
wondering what was
boss.
gonna happen.
Stopped by the boss.
That was my kid. I guess he's the
God.
boss when he comes around and asks me questions.
Oh, good.
Before we go to the kind of the last question, Hitch or Fatty, do you guys have any questions for Sharp?
Hitch.
When are you and Foreplay going to start doing a series again?
He talked to me at UMG Dallas, and he called me when we got home, and I thought we were supposed to do something yesterday, but he never hit me up. I'm just waiting on him. Foreplay, if you're watching, you just got to hit me up.
Typical, man.
We can bring the pro scene back.
So I'll ask you guys a last question, and then we'll go into our closing, our final, whatever it's called. I don't even remember what I call it, final thought or whatever. But so my last question kind of is related to, we talked about this whole thing about YouTube and streaming and all that kind of stuff. If someone was to ask you today, I want to start a YouTube channel, what should I think about, and what's important? And I know all of us have YouTube channels, all at different various sizes. I don't think Hitch streams, and I don't stream gameplay. So, but what would you guys say? What would be your advice if they want to get into competitive Call of Duty, like actually starting out on YouTube or streaming or something like that? Kind of what would you tell them to look out for and to focus on? What kind of tips? And I'll start with Fatty.
I don't know, because I'm still trying to work on that. I guess it's all about, what you do, like what you make. It has to be good quality. Make sure you're not talking monotone like I tend to do. But also, it's who you connect with. Having somebody like Kingdom sure helped my channel out. Somebody like Sharp, I'm sure Sharp got helped by somebody along the way. Everybody gets helped by somebody at some point. And so if your content is good, that just makes it even easier time for somebody to say, hey, look at this guy's channel. It's actually really good. So make sure your content's good.
Somebody in the chat was asking me if Rambo would be a good replacement for Karma on EG. Hitch.
It's all about being successful. I mean, being successful on YouTube is all about personality. Like we were talking about Killa earlier. Like he could just upload himself talking to the camera, and probably get a bazillion views. Like it's just you don't be afraid when people do commentaries. Every single channel, when they first do their commentaries, they always talk monotone. They always try to just get through it. But you got to really go crazy. You got to act wild and really show yourself. And then people will get attached to that.
Yeah.
Sharp, you got anything?
What I've learned from people like Chaos and Kazov, you got to be consistent. I'm talking like a video a day. You don't need to do 2 videos a day. Like a video a day. Try to have it around like 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Because if you're uploading every single day, I even noticed with my channel, like I would be getting like 7,000 views to 10,000 views a video, and then
he just dips, man.
Wow. But anyway, I would notice I'd be getting like 7,000 to 10,000 views a video, and then I would stop uploading for like a week or 2 weeks, And then when I come back, I would notice it being like 3,000, 4,000, and it's like slow getting back to that. So, if you stay consistent, you'll grow a consistent fan base, and just find something, be original, and find something that you're good at and that you enjoy doing. Because if you're not enjoying making your videos, then the people watching them are not going to enjoy watching them. If it looks forced, then it's just not going to be a fun experience for people watching your videos. And just find something that you're good at and keep rolling with it.
Don't force it in, is what you're saying.
Yeah, don't force it in. It has to be consensual.
So while you're being I think I didn't get to hear all of what Sharp said because one of my kids' friends was knocking on the door repeatedly and wouldn't stop. Yeah, for real. It was Nadeshot. He wanted my autograph. So I would say be consistent and quality. And quality means the best you can do, and consistent means as often as you can upload. So consistent doesn't mean when you start YouTube, upload every single day if you can't do that, because you'll force yourself to make bad videos because you're trying to force yourself. And so consistency means if you can only upload every other day, then upload the best video you can every other day. And if you have a Roxio game capture still and all you have is Modern Warfare 3, you may not get very many views, but start there until you can get something else. And that's just my advice until you find your niche. And once you find your niche, like for Sharp, it's being himself, and making funny faces and, playing pubs and laughing and kind of people not realizing that he may be making fun of them, but he is when he's playing pubs. And that's just his niche. My niche is talking about competitive Call of Duty, even though I'm not really a pro player and I never have been a pro player, and I would get stomped by any pro player on the STiKS. But I put my face in front of the camera and you guys like to listen, so that's what I do. Whatever your niche is, Fatty talking about being a fatty, Hitch wearing hats, and having curly locks.
Oh, that's it.
And editing
talking
videos.
about ghosts.
And the raps.
And talking bad about ghosts. Sharp, I didn't get to ask it, but people are really want to know. Do we ban or not ban the Vector?
I think it's just it's too late to just ban it. There's only like 2 events left. I mean, it does make the game really kind of dull to watch because it's all vectors, ultra triggering, and I think the MTAR takes more skill.
Yeah,
but I just think like there's 2 events left. Might as well just keep it. People would be so confused. Like the kids, like banning it. The people that are really into competitive would understand like what's going on, but the people that, like I said, that only watch when Nadeshot's on, they're watching and they're sitting there like, wow, the Vector. I've been using this my whole life. Where is it? Why aren't they using it? And then they're just all confused. And they don't know what's going on.
All right, we're in overtime, but before I close, I keep getting spammed with these questions about Proofy and Clayster. If you found out, Sharp, that your team, I'm not saying this actually happened, this is just a rumor, but if you found out your team was trying to replace you, would you stay on the team? And would you be able to play at the same level and look at your teammates the same way if you found out they were trying to replace you with someone else like Formal or Karma? Because there's these rumors running around about Proofy getting dropped and Clayster getting dropped or leaving, and it seems like they know something. Things have definitely changed in the Optic House and with the players, but nobody knows what. Would you continue to play with your team?
It would definitely be awkward. I mean, it would depend on the circumstance. I would talk to them and I would try to figure out, why. What did I do to you? Do I suck? Do I suck? Like, what? Do I suck at search? Do I suck at respawn? What do I need to do to get better? Like, help me out here. If it was just something that we couldn't fix, then I would either get rid of them and find new teammates, or I would try to join another team.
If you were to join any team, like say just TK dissolved, who would you want to join?
Oh no!
I mean, it's kind of an easy answer. Optic.
I was hoping you'd say Fear, but
I mean, Fear's.
He's trying to make a career out of this, man.
Crickets, man. Crickets in this Skype call right now. Man, we went the whole time without saying anything awkward, and putting him on the spot. And then the last 3 minutes, man. Like,
My bad.
We'll see.
Fatty had to do something.
Optic. I wouldn't be like, I want to join Optic just because, like, their fan base, like, oh yeah, I get all these viewers and stuff. Like,
yeah,
I like what I mean, Optic, obviously, yeah, you have the fans, all the players on the team kind of are doing what I want to do, and, they make YouTube videos, they stream. But other than that, I think Scumpy is probably the best player in Call of Duty. And I would like to team with Scumpy. I feel like that'd be a fun time.
That would be a fun time. Is TK going to have the same roster going into Advanced Warfare?
Oh, dang, man.
Making it awkward, yeah. I mean, that's the plan. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen from here to Advanced Warfare, but that seems to be the plan.
Well, good. I think you guys, I like this team. I like the core that you have. I like that you guys came back together. And the success you've had in the past, I always thought that you and Theory belonged together. I don't know why. I just think that when he left the team, it changed things drastically. And it was like, you guys are just a duo, I guess. I don't know if you'd see Goon or Neslo as your duo, but I just see Theory as your duo. I think you guys play well together and crack jokes, and you guys are funny. Yeah. And you're laughing, so maybe that's not true.
I don't know. I like all my teammates. I mean, I guess I could say Neslo is probably one of my favorite teammates just because, like, my dude just has so much passion for the game. Like, I've never seen someone with that much passion. I mean, sometimes when he's spewing the passion towards me, I'm like, oh, yeah, you got to calm down. But, like, I love your passion. I just don't have that much passion, but I love it. I love, like, how much he wants to win. Like, I don't know. I would say right now Neslo is probably my favorite teammate.
Is he the one screaming at tournaments and getting loud?
Yeah. Yeah, he's the one screaming. He's our screamer. You ever seen the Neslo remix at X Games?
No.
Oh.
Put it in the chat if you can find it. Or tweet it. I'll watch it. Who made it? Do you know who made it?
I don't know who made it, but...
Dude, I've got some videos from Philly of Neslo that'll never hit YouTube. Because it is too funny, man. Like,
you can't say that. Now the chat is going to be like...
This is when he clutched the 1v2 against Optic. And someone, like, remixed it and put the Shake It by Outkast or... Shit, I can't think of the song.
There you go. I'm going to put it in the chat. Oh, okay.
Oh, Fatty did too.
Sorry, I was like a half a second late.
But just like what Neslo does in this video, there's no one else on our team that would stand up to that.
I'm watching it now. Sorry, stream. You're just watching us watch a video.
That's so funny.
Oh, man.
I think I do remember this.
Hey, who's your favorite short, fat caster, Sharp?
I'm going to have to go with you.
Yes!
Oh, my God.
All right. Closing outros.
Oh, goodness.
But just also notice in the video, like, when I see that in my peripherals, I see Neslo over there, like, freaking out. A pro tip here is that's when you don't hold your hand out to him for the handshake.
Oh, is that when you got hit in the head or somebody?
That's when he comes down with the hammer of dawn and just breaks your hand. Like, you give him a second to get it all out. Like you'll notice in the video, I turned to Gunjar first. Gunjar did nothing in that clutch. I turned to him and was like, "Let's go!" Like shook his hand. Let Neslo do him. Then I shook his hand.
And when he calmed down a little bit, that was. I like the remix. That was pretty good. That would have definitely made my videos if I would have seen it. I do remember that play though. When he stood up and screamed like that.
Yeah, it was a good play. I thought we were gonna win the tournament after that.
That hype is good, man. That hype helps. It does a lot. Like when you have that player like Study that just screams, at the top of his lungs with his high voice, like it's like, oh, okay, let's go, let's do this. So the last thing we're gonna do is at the end of Goalie. What are you spamming in there? At the end of every show. I kind of let everybody close with whatever the heck they want to say about whatever to whoever. And I'm going to go Fatty, Hitch, Sharp, and then myself will go last.
I just want to say thanks for having me on. As always, good hanging out with you guys. Make sure you remember who you are and what you stand for. And have a good Labor Day.
Such a grown man for that.
I just didn't know what else to say. I was kind of. You didn't give me enough time to think.
do
Remember
this
who
every
you are
time.
and what you stand for. Like that's like the quote off a Snapple bottle cap.
That's like a church quote right there.
I think a fortune cookie I opened said that.
Dude, why are fortune cookies never like have a fortune? It's always like a statement. It's not a fortune.
Yeah.
That's BS.
I know, right? It's
Uh,
always like, you
What
are
if there
a
was
great
money
person.
in it?
I take that any day. Except for money's like the dirtiest thing ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat that fortune cookie.
Yeah.
Except for by the time you get the money out, you've already eaten half of it. At least if you're fat like me.
I just crack it. I literally crack it open, and then I probably don't eat it. I read the fortune and give the cookies to my kids or something. All right, Hitch, you're up.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Kingdom, as always. And I've really been trying to grind out my YouTube, so if you want to check that out, that would be very helpful.
T1
And,
rap video.
Yeah, rap videos. Thanks to Avalanche and all the other Twitch/Twitter guys that tweet out the stream because we broke 1K, which is awesome. We haven't done that in a while, and I think a big part of that is Sharp. So also, thanks for coming on, Sharp. What else? I think that pretty much does it. Yeah, just thanks to everybody.
Sharp, thanks for coming on. Fatty Hitch, thank you, Goalie, for doing what you do, for producing the show and letting me just sit here and do whatever I want. It helps a lot. So you guys make sure, if you can, to donate to the stream. It'll help out Goalie. And I look forward to potentially maybe trying to, even if it's like a scuff showdown, to do maybe cast something in Advanced Warfare. Looking forward to it. So come here. Come here. My son Evan came out here, but he doesn't want to be on camera.
There's Michelangelo.
What?
I'm seeing Michelangelo. Not behind you.
Oh, on Sharp's face. I'm like, what are you talking about? Sharp's, is that from Loot Crate or something?
Yeah, it is.
Who's not sponsored by Loot Crate? Is there is every pro team sponsored by Loot Crate?
I'm not sponsored by anybody.
I don't think every pro team. I don't know. They just send me loot crates every month. I'm like, hey, all right, I'll open it.
I mean, yeah, no problems with that. Free stuff. So my dream is, you know, I've been, I guess, sponsored by G Fuel, but my dream would be to somehow, as a non-competitive player, to be sponsored by Scuff or Astro. I don't know how that would happen, but it's my dream, so you guys know it. So when it happens, you can celebrate with me. This is your boy Kingdom Soldier and Sharp, Fatty, and Hitch, and Goalie, and we'll see you guys in the next episode of STiKS. This will be on my channel tomorrow. Peace.